Bush 43, Deputy Chief of Staff Karl Rove. You know, Karl, I was thinking of President Bush himself after his tax cuts. He had to overcome a lot of doubters. He said, oh, this isn't worth the paper it's printed on. This is a giveaway to the rich. And I was surprised historically that is the reaction initially tax cuts get when they come first out the gate. How do you think this whole process is going to go?
Well, you're right. That's how any Republican conservative supply side tax cut is attacked, as a giveaway to the rich. And obviously, in this one, on the corporate side, they're painting all corporations as evil. These are where a lot of Americans work. They're ignoring the benefits to small business that occur in the pass-through. But look, this step back for just a minute. The president is behind the eight ball. When we passed the tax cuts in June of 2001, the bill, when it was passed, was 55% plus approval, 35% disapproval. This one is upside down, and that's because the White House has not done, in my opinion, an effective job of advancing the bill and explaining it. So it needs to do a better job. Just because it passed doesn't mean he needs to step away from explaining it. The White House needs to look for opportunities in the weeks and months ahead to show how this bill is having an actual impact to make people's lives better. And they can't wait until February. They need to find some small businesses and big companies that are going to take advantage of what this bill gives them and start to create more jobs in America, give their employees better benefits, and invest in plants and equipment. And he needs to be in a place where he demonstrates that by going and being seen with, the company that's buying new equipment, or the employees that are seeing new benefits, or the company that's investing more in research and development of exciting products as a result of this. And he needs to do this persistently between now and the middle of next year, so that people say, wait a minute, there is growth. The economy is stronger. What the Republicans said, what our president has said, is coming to be true.
I'd be curious, Karl, what were your thoughts when President Bush, of course, had a tax holiday of his own to entice companies to put money to work? And a lot of them just plowed it back into their stock, plowed it back in the market, which they're free to do. I always stress that's their choice. Do you think, in your heart of hearts, there would be disappointment if companies that get this tax holiday take this money back home? And that's what they do, or even worse. I say worse in a job sense, buy out competitors or rivals and produce job losses before we get presumably job gains.
Yeah, look, the president needs to explain why this is a good thing. We don't care what we want them to invest in plants and equipment, but let's say a company brings that money back from abroad and says, you know what, we don't have plans that makes economic sense. We're going to give this back to our stockholders in the form of a special dividend or stock buybacks. That still means money gets pumped into the American economy. What's our American economy today? Roughly $20 trillion. What happens if $2 trillion gets injected into our economy? That's going to be money that's going to be put to work someplace by somebody.
I'm telling you, Karl, he's not doing it. In fact, they get lost in the weeds talking about pass-throughs. First of all, I thought they were talking about milk and magnesia when they were doing that. And I just thought, it's got to stop. Because one thing I think that was clear, Reagan did this, I think your old boss did this, just explained it in terms that average folks, everyone could understand. I trust you with your money more than the government with your money. Some gems like that,
Yeah, and look, you've got to show that it's having an impact. You've got to be there. The president is a gigantic magnet for media coverage. So use that magnetism, use that ability to draw the focus of America onto ways to show that it's helping. I mean, look, we are going to have companies. We've already had Cisco and Pfizer announce, look, we're not going to use this in expanding our businesses. We're going to give it back to our stockholders. That's fine. There's still money being injected back into America. So get us some stockholders who are getting that money back saying, here's what I'm doing with the money I'm getting back. I'm reinvesting it in things that I think are going to make my life and the life of my community better. Go to companies that are going to take that money and plow it into America, into American jobs and facilities or acquisitions, and herald their activity, but do it persistently. And you're right, you got to explain it in terms that allow the average American working cat to say, this makes a difference.
I think and I'm not blowing you smoke. What made you so good at this is you always be on offense. And I think it's important. I heard one Republican congressman the other day, I'm sorry, the name escapes me, Karl, saying we had a Democratic guest on saying, this is going to be paltry what you're going to see. And immediately he came on to say, well, you know what? Whether it's $40, $60, $80, I'd rather you have it than me have it.
Than the government have it.
And I thought it was just such a pithy but clear and direct response. And you think about that, damn right,
Yeah, look, the choices. I love these people who are so arrogant that they say $50 in your paycheck. That's a pittance. That doesn't matter. Well, there are a lot of Americans who are living from paycheck to paycheck, and for whom $50 more or $30 more in each week's check is going to be a big change in their life. It's going to allow them to put aside a little bit of money for that reserve for against an emergency and allow them to live a somewhat better life.
You've got to be in charge. You're going and responding to these charges and get caught in the weeds, talking about pass-throughs and talking about you're losing.
We trust you with your money.
Well
better
put.
than the government.
Well put. You might have a future at this, Karl. Keep at it. You're showing great progress.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. If I don't see you again,
Merry
my
Christmas
friend, have
to
a
you.
Merry Christmas. Karl Rove.
You too, sir.
Fine political mind. I think people on the left and the right agree on that.